Hello, I'm Brian Thompson, president of Corporate Kid based here in Atlanta, Georgia, with reach across the country. I'm here today to talk about Corporate Kid and the I Am an American Challenge. Corporate Kid is a nonprofit organization that works with kids that do very well in school. These are talented kids that live in very challenging situations, whether it be their parents on substance abuse, they're homeless, or they simply merely live in a war zone. A lot of crime, a lot of violence. Yet and still, these kids perform at a high level in school, A and B students. Ask yourself how hard it is to be an A and B student in a perfect situation. Try doing it with gunshots at night, no food in the refrigerator. But these kids still do that. But we know they don't do it all the way through high school. At some point, these kids become jaded, 14, 15 years old, and they feel like what's the point? I don't have access to the great schools. I don't know how to get to those schools. I certainly know how to get to these buildings. Corporate Kid does is we give them access. We take people who work in these buildings, and we teach kids who live in these environments, and we connect them. A once-a-month mentorship program where they can get into the mind of these executives and vice versa, and start getting the tools to get them out of those situations. Generational poverty is an access situation. It's not a black thing, a white thing, a Latino thing, a Native American thing. It's an access thing. Think about it. It's not an inner city thing. It's an access thing. Take the kid that lives in West Rural Kentucky or West Virginia. Parents, the father works in the coal mines. You've always heard my daddy, and my daddy's daddy have worked in the coal mines, and that's where I'm going to probably work too. If you're in the ground digging coal, you're probably not going to have the tools necessary to figure out how to get here. But these people do. So what we do is kind of the opposite of what happened in the past. Normally, the scenario is the executive goes into the urban area, sits down for a couple hours, tells the kids how he's been successful, then he gets up and vanishes. The kids get a period off. It's about as far as it goes. What these kids need is access. They need to know that they are accepted. So we do the opposite. We flip it. We take these kids and we take them and get them a nice suit and we send them in there with the executive once a month. He shadows the executive all day long. He gets to feel accepted. He sees how it's done. If the kid knows he's smart, he knows at some point he'll be able to do that. And he gets back to do it every time for an entire year. What does that do? One, he just made a great relationship and a great connection with a person who has the roadmap on how to get from where they are to where they might want to be. Two, he actually starts to learn the fundamentals of business. You can't learn that in the city. You can't learn that in rural America unless you follow the rules of the local drug dealer, the meth dealer. Because in those areas, the most successful person is generally that guy, generally that girl. We tell these kids, please don't take that path. But we just tell them that. We don't give them anything. It's Corporate Kid's changing all that. We're going to show them another way. This is the way. And when they see the executive reach out and bring them in, it's going to mean the world to these kids. Many of these kids have never been in buildings like this, let alone worked in them. We're going to get these kids to share stock, teach them how stock works globally, not just domestically, how it intertwines in the environment, in the global market. We're going to get these kids passports so they understand one day they can go and they can fly to another country. We're going to teach these kids how to be 100% American. Because that's the American dream. Fortunately, it's not available to everybody right now. But the Corporate Kid group and the I Am an American Challenge is changing that. So I challenge following people to take the I Am an American Challenge. My challenge goes to Rand Paul, goes at the Mayor Michael Nutter of my beloved Philadelphia, and the Koch brothers, who operate right downtown here in Atlanta, to take the I Am an American Challenge. I'm Brian Thompson, president of Corporate Kid, and I am an American. Thank you.